Been thinking a lot about that day back in November of 1992 when bright-eyed and young and impulsive, I crossed the Ohio River and became a Kentuckian. Came here to work in what is now the Senator from Boone's district at Turfway Park as communications director. I'd worked at racetracks in Michigan and Ohio and Maryland, and finally was able to achieve a teenage horse lover's dream to work in Kentucky, the horse capital of the world. And it was a great run. I was at Turfway Park during the glory days in the 1990s, and then I spent 8 years working for one of the most prestigious organizations in racing, the Breeders' Cup, putting on horse racing's championship day all over the country, including a couple of times here in Kentucky. I was one of thousands of horse-crazy people who weren't born in Kentucky, but chose to come here to pursue a lifelong dream of working with the horse, a noble creature. Everybody knows my affection for them. Then I got sidetracked a little bit and was elected to this body 18 years ago, and my full-time career in the horse racing business was put aside for a while. And I've always been struck by what the senator from Boone alluded to, that some people who were born and raised here don't seem to have as much appreciation for this horse industry as those of us who come from somewhere else. And it's not just from around the country, it's from around the world. Lots of Irish accents if you spend any time going to restaurants around central Kentucky. It's not just northerners like me who chose to be a southerner by choice, Mr. President. But now I stand before you with that industry that I love under threat, with all kinds of ruses and red herrings and smokescreens to try to divert our attention from the matter at hand. And it is simply, Mr. President, that this industry, the signature industry of Kentucky, the home of the Kentucky Derby, the home of the industry market-leading thoroughbred horse breeding business that exports our stock around the world, where it wins for people from major racing countries everywhere. It's under threat. And I respect people who are morally and religiously opposed to gambling, but I'm not going to stand idly by while pejoratives are made about people who participate in this sport, like happened today on this floor. I'm not even going to repeat what the senator from Christian called people who wager of their own free will, Mr. President. Here are a couple of facts. People are worried about race dates going away. Tell you what, Mr. President, since the addition of historical horse racing machines, racetracks in Kentucky have added race dates. Churchill Downs runs a meet in September that 10 years ago they did not. More racing, because that's what the marketplace wants. We are on the cusp, because of the rise in purses driven by HHR wagering, is making us the best circuit in North America. Too expensive to do business in New York because of workers' compensation rates skyrocketing. Political problems in California. We have a circuit that has moved just beyond the 2 meets at Keeneland and Kentucky Derby Week at Churchill Downs to a year-round circuit. Turfway, Keeneland, Churchill Downs, Kentucky Downs, Ellis Park. And our standardbred industry is on the rebound too, at the Red Mile and at Oak Grove, and with a new track scheduled to be built in southeastern Kentucky. And it's because of the increase in purses, Mr. President. In 2009, purses, which are the mother's milk of horse racing, that's what drives it, $67 million annually, distributed to the winning horses, the placed horses, and their owners and trainers and jockeys. now is up to $113 million in 2019, driven by these pari-mutuel machines that the public loves, that they knowingly and of their own free will have engaged in around the Commonwealth, Mr. President. Now, I don't understand the class warfare being played here today. It's upsetting to me personally, because I know people of all walks of life who make that decision to make a wager. And make no mistake, it's the wagering that drives the purses. And by the way, those purses are negotiated in good faith between the tracks and the horsemen's groups. And the tracks want those purses to be as large as possible to draw more horses to compete here, because that in turn drives more wagering revenue. It's an economic model that is working in Kentucky better than any place else in the country. We even have statutory funds to provide extra purse money for Kentucky breds that are in statute, passed by the General Assembly. And yes, HHR is helping fuel those as well. It's a growing source of revenue for our general fund. If it goes away, you're going to have a $25 million hole in the budget, and it will be bigger next year if this bill is passed. But what's not mentioned is the amount of sales and income tax revenue derived by all the people who work in this business. And it's on their behalf that I stand here today to encourage members to vote for this bill. It's the grooms and the hot walkers and the trainers and the blacksmiths and the horse transport drivers and their employees, the restaurants and the catering companies who rely on the horse industry, veterinarians and equine chiropractors and acupuncturists, feed merchants, horse and hay and grain farmers, accountants and lawyers and ad agencies, veterinary technicians, farm managers, bloodstock agents, racetrack employees, sales company staff, exercise riders, jockeys, horse farm owners, lumber companies, tractor sales company. They are all doing well in this economy because of the money derived by the purses created by wagering on live, simulcast, and historic horse racing in Kentucky. That money has a huge trickle-down effect out into the economy. If you don't like casino gambling, you should be for historic horse racing. It's the #1 factor in keeping the big casino companies out of Kentucky for the last 10 years. If this bill doesn't pass, as the senator from Boone alluded to, 1,400 jobs are going to go away. That's 1,400 families being supported by their jobs working at HHR facilities. Their sales tax from spending, gone. Their income tax from earning, gone. And then over the next 12 to 18 months, there will be thousands more in an industry that a UK study says provides for 100,000 indirect and direct jobs. As those purses start to drop, owners and trainers will make a decision to leave Kentucky. There will be fewer race dates. I would proffer that 3 to 4 racetracks could close very soon in this fiscal year, Mr. President. What about all the taxes that they pay? Mr. President, on behalf of those workers in this industry, I implore the members of this body to support Senate Bill 120 and the excellent work done by the senator from Boone. We don't need businesses closing. We don't need businesses laying off people. We need businesses growing. That's what we're supposed to be about. We're supposed to be about creating an environment where businesses can thrive. And we have passed policies here for years to do that across all sectors: manufacturing, agriculture, automotive, tourism, bourbon. All of these industries have been helped by policies here that will allow them to thrive. It's no different from what we're trying to do today. I'm passionate about this industry because I love the horses and I love the people. I love the single mom of 30 years old who's at a local training center, who gets there every morning at 5 o'clock to do what's called hot walking. After a horse has a workout or a gallop in the morning as they train to prepare for races, someone has to walk them around the barn time and time and time again to cool them off before they get put back in their stall, just like an athlete a human athlete does a cool down after a workout. This young lady is a single mom, got a couple of kids, and when I took my daughter out to see one of the horses that I'm in partnership on, she told my daughter about how she's taken night classes and online classes, and she's using this job to help raise her family and pay for her school so she can get an education and maybe try to move up into a higher paying job. You know, there is no dishonor in any sort of legal and honest work, Mr. President. And the fact that that has been besmirched on this floor today is unacceptable to me. These are good and honorable people who love horses and they love their families, and we should support them today by voting for Senate Bill 120.